1771. Equipment lease, it says see offer funds. And if you go also to that area, you'll see we have street repair, $1 million. And then if you go down to the bottom under building and grounds, you will see, equipment lease. It also says, offer funds as well. And then on the next page, under recreation, what we did was we took the program salaries, and if you look at the back under tourism, you will see that amount there. It shows the page next to the last programs and salaries, $20,000. Also supplies and expenses and tourism funds. See, that should be there. Help me find that one, Ms. Jones.
I think it went with the repair, was it projects? I think that was projects.
Okay, under projects.
I think we changed the name to projects instead of,
Bitchy, I didn't put, okay, that's it.
it was
So
under
projects
supplies and
slash
expense.
Supplies, that's gonna be 30,000.
30.
And then also on repair and maintenance, we have the offer funds, and under that, as well. So there should be, that's $100,000. That's for the roofs for some of the different buildings and parks and recs. And then also for the library contribution, we also have the tourism funds for that. And so those amounts are the same as last year. Library 25,000, ID Wells 10,000, Historical Society 7,200. And then if you go to see the next sheet, you see that balanced out. So we have presented a balanced budget. Also under the funds for opera, one of the things I wanted to point out were those are listed out. Opera expenses, this is the next to the last page. Fire station renovation, 150,000. A consultant for the SIM school to look at the possibility of renovating that. $35,000. Street repair, $1 million. Utility slash public assistance, $100,000. And there is a category under the ARPA funds that we can do something similar to CDBG to assist people with those utilities. And of course, I've spelled out as far as the tourism, what we have there. So the total for this balanced budget, including those matters, comes to $8,305,413.36. All right, and then Alderman Fountain, you mentioned, I think we have in the two things that we talked about, HR, the department director, along with an assistant director. And then also you mentioned something though, that can be, I guess, under the equipment and stuff, that's the $7,000 or $10,000 for the lights for Blues Alley, as well as the speaker for Blues Alley. Did not hear from anybody else. Alderman Chip and I had a conversation regarding as far as like the utility funds and things of that nature, but that's what we're proposing. Want to make sure that we had something balanced. If there are any questions about this one, just let me know. And Alderman Hill and I talked a little bit before everyone arrived. And then we have the second one. This is the Alderman request. And if y'all want to go through that, let us know what's happening with that.
I could shed a little light on the Alderman's request. In our proposed draft budget, we of course included a portion of the pallet money from the utilities department. I think that, and Madam Clerk, can you share with me or with us, what is this? September. How many payments and what amount of payments have we received thus far this year from the utilities department?
In the beginning,
Did we receive one this month?
no.
Last month? August,
no, we haven't received one since May.
since May.
Since May. but before then, 4 months, we got 150,000
just for the month.
for 4 months.
Previously.
Mhm. And
So this
then,
entire year, we received only 4 payments.
no, in October or November, we got a full payment.
I mean, from January.
So you're
I don't
going with
think
the
it's
fiscal,
Fiscal.
Yeah.
you're talking calendar.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm really just trying to paint a picture here. So from January, I know from October, we received something, but from January until now,
We received
we're
150,000,
150,000.
600.
600,000. Okay, so in our report, we took into account, even though that's still stretching it, because for this year, we're in the month of September, and I know that our fiscal year starts in October. But for this year, calendar year, we've only received 4 payments, and we're supposed to have received 9. So when we looked at that, of course, we had the choice of no pilot payments from the utility department because of the financial status of the utility department. And then $150,000 per month from the utilities department, or the full amount, which is in the departmental budget that the mayor just presented. We do not believe that, I do not believe that money from the utilities department is going to be monies that we received. I know that with the improvement in reading the meters, with the improvement in the 30, 60, and 90-day accounts that are behind at the utilities department, that improvements can be made, and we'll see that in the utility department's budget. Hopefully, it's presented tonight for approval. But also with the arrearages that the utility department already owe $3 million to the city, and with the $1.6 million worth of checks in the drawer for vendors, accounts that they need to pay, that it's going to be tough to get. We're hoping for the 150,000 per month, and so we looked at that in terms of making the cuts that we have in the budget, proposed budget. We looked at, again, on the front from 273,000,273 to 001-276. We looked at the approximate payments that should total 150, and we made some cuts throughout the budget. We did not give any salary increases because of the financial status, because of the monies that should be coming from the utilities department, but are not, and we just can't guarantee that right now. Of course, it's the proposed budget, and we can make addendums to the budget throughout the year. If the money rectifies or begin to come in, then we will, of course, meet to request those or make those changes. You can see on the police salary side, the numbers pretty much look the same. We did make some cuts there in terms of overtime. We looked at overtime throughout each and every department. Overtime is, in some cases, outrageous. And so we're wanting to get with the directors to relook at that for possible salaries for certain positions. And then, of course, reducing overtime in all positions. And you can look at the garage, at the library contributions that we're going to make, or that we propose to make. The human resource department, that was a request of the alderman in terms of reinstating that position. We feel that it is extremely necessary. We looked at zoning, we looked at municipal court. Again, we looked at overtime very precisely in terms of where our city is in terms of financial and what we felt like we could afford and not. Again, this is a proposed budget. It is a balanced budget that we are presenting to the public on tonight and to the team. Any questions? And we worked on this. I think all of the aldermen pretty much had given some input to this budget. And so it's presented. Any questions?
I think, I think we have two different budgets here with a substantial amount of differences between the two. So we're gonna have to go through these and make adjustments needed. Because even on the first page, we got at least 10 items in here. And we're gonna have to come to some type of conclusion on which one we're going to go with. Because they're ranging from $500 to $3,000 in the differences. So that's first of all. I don't know if we can do that without the utilities department budget first, because we don't know if we put the pilot payment in or not. I don't know what he has in his budget or what in his proposed budget. So I do want to know if his budget is including the 150,000 or the 200,000. I know that I'm gonna have to pay something, but I don't know what the budget is to be able to see which one of these will be.
And it's talking to Mr. Jones, he had mentioned that to not include any dollars. Yeah, and so that's why I asked, that's why I was asking about what have you received, what is the pattern?
Oh,
What
yeah.
is already received?
Right. Well, I know that the pattern has been iffy, you know, the last couple of years. We have a budget with Madam City Clerk. But I see, you know, I got my bill on time this month. So it looks like it's a up from here. So let's just, I want to see. I would like to know what we can go in this way, if that makes sense to everybody else. Yeah. Because we don't have to, we don't have to vote on this one until we get that one, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know,
Mr. Jones?
that's up to the mayor. The mayor can vote. She said, call him up, and I said.
Well, I haven't seen him, so I have no idea what he.
But we all get together.
They're calling for you.
I'm
Going up to Mr. Jones.
So, therefore, that's what you said. I'm gonna change the protocol. But I appreciate you respecting all the announcements and going through the proper process of change. Thank you.
Yeah, let me organize. I will talk about.
Oh, yeah.
ITs. I apologize for the print being small. So I didn't say, oh no, that's sewer. Number 7, 6,
7. Or 8.
8. Water. How many I get you for that week? 7, 8, and hopefully I got enough here for the election side. Oh, no. The gas budget, can't forget about the gas. 2, 6, 7, 8.
Where's, Ms. Mason?
Uh, she's on her way. She asked me to bring these. I got these at, was it about 5:15 from her? She's on her way. She told
Did
me.
a great job, so not to do it. About to,
Eight.
Lord. You was well confident out. Beg pardon?
That's the election.
No sarcasm on this road.
Oh, no, I'm fine to proceed. I'm fine to proceed. I'm fine. Thank you. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Board. How y'all doing? Is the weather? It's a little rainy outside. First of all, can you hear me? Okay. First of all, I have to say the same thing I said at the previous budget meeting, that power contract prohibits us from paying the tax equivalency or the pilot payment. However, I was asked,
Sean, what, because I have not noticed that in there, so what page is that
Mayor, to be honest with you,
Version of the contract.
I don't, I don't know what page it's on, but it was explained to me by the TVA attorneys, the TVA financial consultants, and the TVA personnel.
Seen it yourself.
Yes, I have seen it. I've read it myself. Yes.
So I'm saying from the actual city of Holly Springs, that's what I asked you about as far as what page it was on. Where did you?
I don't remember the page. I just have a
You
copy
read
of
the
it.
contract?
Pardon me?
You read that contract for the city? Thank you. So you read, I'm talking to Ms. Jones, so thank you.
I, I have read the information that was given to me by TVA. I have read the information that I found in my office that says that, the TVA, this is the TVA power contract. Now, I haven't read every page of it because the thing is about that thick, but that's why I went and sit down with the TVA attorney and our attorney, and they went through it with me. And when I sit there and I listen to it, I'm not a lawyer, but I have no reason to believe that that TVA contract is not legitimate or it's not the law. And I don't get involved in that.
Well, if you were referred to, and I'll let you get into the budget shortly, but I think that it's important that we are clear about it and honest and transparent, as people love to say. That the day that you were there with their attorneys, that was a sample contract, it was signed, and it was not the actual contract that the city of Holly Springs has executed with TVA. So it's important that we say that it was a blank document and not an executed one that was presented that day that their attorneys were there.
I have copies in my office from going back like 1972, copies of the power, different versions, copies of the power contract. Have I read every one of them? No, but that's why I had the meeting with the attorneys.
Go ahead with the budget and we'll come back to
Okay,
that.
like I said about the payment in lieu of taxes, the power contract states that we can't pay it, and the fact that the the $289,000 between the utility department and the gas department. That's another reason. That's another reason why. Now, as far as the budget the budget is concerned, I was asked to submit a budget, and I was asked to include the payment in lieu of taxes in the budget somehow. And so this is what Miss Mason has done. She has provided me with a budget for the utility department, for the gas department, the electric department, the sewage department, and the water department. Now, I'll say that, this is Miss Mason's budget. I have no faith in this budget whatsoever. And I'm going to be honest about it because I did not create this budget. It is her budget. When I looked at the numbers, as far as I saw the inclusion of the payment for the, payment in lieu of taxes. I have other questions as far as the money is concerned, as far as we're expected, if you look, we're expected to somehow have $30 million, make $30 million in 2025 projected. And I don't understand how we're going to do that. And the current situation that we are, when we don't have audit from 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And the TVA financial advisors have advised me that you need those audits to make a realistic budget for the Holly Springs Utility Department. And that's what I need to make a budget. I need those audits, and I don't have them. Therefore, I present a budget to you tonight. It's letters on paper, it's numbers. That's all I have no faith in these numbers because I don't know where they start and I don't know where they begin. And I can't honestly tell you that, okay, yes, I'm honestly telling you that we are going to project this amount of money for 2025 when I don't have the audits that have been looked at by a professional auditing and looked at and assessed the state of the utility department, especially the state that we are in now that TVA has told me about as far as not having accounts reconciled, not having historical knowledge of where the records are for the utility department's accounts. I ask everyone in the utility department, accounting department last week about where the information is stored. It is stored in my documents on different computers. There's no one place where all the information is stored like it should be. So, I mean, I don't want to get into all that. We have made improvements at the utility department as far as the budget, the metering is concerned. We're no longer a month and a half behind, we're a month behind. And I will tell you now unequivocally that your utility bills will be on time before Christmas because I figured out how to do it and get it done. And it's not technically that difficult, but you have to have the people reading the meters. They have to be willing to do the job. I got a meter reading contract company, and I figured out a way, to get it done. Plus, I've got the addresses organized now in such a way that they don't have to flip through papers, and that's going to save us a couple of weeks. We may even have the bills on time, by Thanksgiving. I'm hoping, but definitely by Christmas. I haven't finished with my positives yet.
Because you're talking about the meter reading, so while you're in that moment, I want to make sure that I address that because the meter reading was on track when you were appointed. It got off track after you were appointed. That's when we got so far behind because at that point in time, you were new, did not understand the significance of reading the meters and pull people off. Even to this day, you have not. And also, there has still been an issue because the contractors are not even able to be here every day. But so we were already improving before you got here. You attempted to sabotage it by pulling people off, or maybe you just didn't understand. I'm not sure. But there were several people, and we talked about this last week. And so since you mentioned it again, I have to mention it because I hear a lot of I. But the team at the utility department have worked really hard, and we had various people already assigned to reading the meters, and then you pulled them off, and that's when the delay came in. And we can look at the timing of that, to support that. So I want to make sure that that's clear, because that team worked so hard, to get things on track, and you came in and pulled them off. And so I'm also going to say, as far as the audit, as far as you talked about that, yes, it was a challenge even getting people hired and appointed to conduct the audits, and hopefully we'll get something soon. But it's important that as you tell that story, that you tell it with the truth of that you didn't understand, that everyone told you, and only when your supervisor, Stevie, told you the significance, the same thing that I had shared with you about the meter readers, did you get it? But also with that, the contractors are not even reading the way that it was expressed. So I wanted to make sure that in this moment, because of what you were saying, because it's important that folks know that, and that our team knows that, this thing of just always knocking them down when they've been working hard, when they were already at that point. And we already had a system together with reading the meters. Not only did you pull people off of reading the meters, you pulled Mr. Vogel off of repairing the meters. And so that also caused a setback. But continue.
We have increased the time to read them. We have decreased the time to read the meters by 30%. We have sped up the fact that we can read all the meters now in less than a month rather than a month and a half. Now, in order to actually catch up, you have to have more people in the field that can they have to learn the routes before they can actually go out there by themselves. But they will be going by themselves more this month and more next month, and that will decrease the time. That will catch us up significantly, and then the bills will be on time.
What do you mean going by themselves?
I said this before. I come
Yeah,
here
I'm trying to
for
get an
a
understanding.
budget meeting, I come here for, let's continue with budget.
So then he just needs to go through his numbers then, because I'm not going to allow him to make statements that are not true. And I'm going to ask questions as he talks about this, as to what he just mentioned as far as the meter reading. So, and I agree with you, Alderman Ship. So, Mr. Jones, just give us the numbers in the report.
Okay.
All the other stuff, just the numbers.
So, Mr. Jones, my question would be, because that's what I'm interested in. In terms of the pilot payments to the city of Holly Springs. For us to propose this budget, whatever budget we propose, the pilot payments may pay or contribute a significant amount to the city's budget. Again, so and I do know, let me say this, I do know, I don't care what the contract or doesn't or does or what page and all of that. I haven't read the entire contract, but TVA went through that with every board member. We have a whole 3-ring binder, even projecting the financial stability of the utilities department in terms of this or that. So what we're looking for tonight is simply if the pilot payments and what percentage, and I know that things could improve, but right now, the budget, we did not even do the budget, which I had one done last meeting that included $0 of pilot. We did go with that one. All 3 budgets, we got to make cuts. Anyways, but in your mind, or with your observation, your tutelage, your leadership, the utilities department, do you feel that we're going now to receive $150,000? At least $124. Through 2024.
I say it's supposed to be 224 right now.
Right.
No, it's supposed to be 231,000.
231, but at least
$150,000 from beginning October. And we hadn't gotten it the last 3 months. So do you think that we can get it for September, for October? Do you feel that we can get $150,000 at least? And pilot payments from the utilities department to the city of Holly Springs for the beginning of the month of October.
No, I do not, Alderman Merriweather. I can tell you that
Not even 150.
not even 150, because we can, I will say that by January, we should be able to make 150, we should be able to make $150 payment per month. I'm confident when saying that. And now, we may very well be able to make $150,000 utility payment in October, but I don't know that right now. I do not know that. I can tell you that, that the billing is on time before Christmas. Then I have faith that, that we'll be able to pay that looking at the numbers. But right now, October is 2 weeks away and I haven't caught up yet. We haven't caught up. So if I tell you that, yeah, we're going to make $150,000 payment in October, no, I can't tell you that, but I can. Yes, sir.
In this proposed budget for the utility department, what amount is included in any of pilot payments to the city? Any amount, what amount?
Yes, it is. Yeah, not the full amount.
Yeah. What, you know, what amount was, is included?
The full amount.
Did you?
Full amount.
Is it 231?
I know, yeah.
231?
Like 2,700 and some dollars. At 231 a month. But I can kind of agree with what he's saying, and this budget is based on that. We get everything, our, billing and everything back on track. That's what, the budget is based on. We get back on track on billing, and we can handle. Because,
Full amount.
yeah, if we get back on track, when we get back on track with our billing.
Ms. Mason, do you have this in front of you, or is it, what line item is that put in? I know she made it, but she would be able to call a line item out without looking at it.
It's a line.
It's that payment that you're, that you put in here.
Okay, it's all the way, almost at the bottom of the second page.
Oh, I see it, the tax equivalent,
Right.
okay. So you're kind of in the same boat as Mr. Jones, that before Christmas, we should be back on track and be able to make payments.
Right. Maybe before Christmas, because I think it has cut it. They have cut the time down some. I don't know, it goes and comes. At one point, they were really moving on getting the billing caught up. And then when I checked today, it looks like they had slowed down again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's up and down like that, but I would have thought we would have been caught up no later than the end of October last week, when they were really, when WIT was really closing out those billing periods. But this week it's just done, it slowed again.
So what can we do? I know it's manpower. How do we expedite the process of getting back on track?
Yeah, we've done that, Alderman Till, to get back on track. We've put the resources in the right place as far as transportation is concerned, thanks to the mayor. We have the billing, the meter reading team. They have agreed to show up according to the contract that we signed. They only show, they are in New Albany about half the month. They are going to be in March, in our area, about half the month. That was explained at the beginning of the contract. They have a contract with New Albany. We've done that. So that, and I've decreased the amount of time it actually takes them. They don't have to flip through the papers anymore. I figured it out. I got the addresses in order now, so that's gonna decrease the time by at least 2 weeks. And when they actually learn the routes, we won't have 4 people reading meters. We'll have 8 because they'll be in individual cars because the meter. Yeah, we're doubled up because the meter reading company, the guy went out and purchased vehicles so that he could do this for the company. He's doing this because I built the relationship with him. That's what I do. I build relationships to solve problems. I can solve this problem at this utility department if I'm allowed to build the relationship.
I guess I'm
That's
confused.
all I'm asking.
Mr. Jones, what do you mean he went and purchased a vehicle? Did he not have one when he started with the city? What vehicle was he using when he first came if he went and purchased one?
The meter reading company has their own vehicles, and the guy went and purchased more vehicles so that when I told him what we needed, that we needed to have, they have to learn the routes first. So they ride with our guys in the trucks to learn the routes.
This is a question, and I'll ask
Okay.
you about this on Tuesday, because I'm quite concerned based on the discussion and what the contract was supposed to do. So I'll ask you about that on Tuesday night. I'll go into that with y'all Tuesday night, because I don't understand.
So,
Now, what are your-
Did I explain? I mean, that's why we're gonna catch up.
In these reports, and, we're just looking over these, so
so,
you put the whole original amount that's in it that we had expected, that was the last time in yours.
I did. And you know, and on those,
It's there, it's even there now, we could have done the TDA right now, so. Because as you mentioned, it comes and goes. Somebody asked a great question, and one of the things that they've done, even under previous administrations, is they've done what we were doing, and that's utilize everybody who knows how to read the meters. So it's first priority.
that's what I was
And
gonna
so
say
that's
too.
what we're doing, and because those people are already familiar with it, like that,
It would have been during the day
and they're familiar
when
with
they are
that.
slow.
How,
So-
yeah.
That would they have to slow down.
Get as many people reading.
Yeah, that's what we had, and,
So-
they were pulled off, so we'll get that started back up.
Let me be clear. Rechecks are
Hold on. This is a budget meeting.
that's right.
We have
That's why I
two,
said that I talked to you about. it on
budgets.
Tuesday.
we have 2 budgets. A budget has to be adopted by the 15th. Any questions? Can we just stick with budget-related questions? I know that may entangle some stuff, but if we can, stick to budget-related questions. 'Cause
And that was exactly where I was going, because it's excess conversation. I just want to know, that's why I go back to the question I asked at the inception of this conversation. How many payments? Because we can speculate what will be there. We were right here last year. Right here, during budget season. We were told by Ms. Mason, the money is gonna be there. The money is gonna look good, it's gonna come in. We're gonna get more meter readers, and reader readers, and all of that. It's gonna be okay. The bottom line is the track, okay? Is the money there? Have we been paid? And that's why I asked the question from the beginning. We can sit here all night talking about trucks and keys and needles and this. Is the money there? For us to get 150,000, because right now, the board has projected at least $150,000 per month. We're not even going to full amount. And we called Mr. Jones to the front to ask him simply to get his input on whether or not he felt. We understand the pilot payment is the last, we understand bills, we understand their arrearages at the utility department, we understand all of that. What we want to know, and look at the pattern, are we receiving $150,000? Can we put that money in our budget for the city of Holly Springs? We know it has not come in since May.
Well, I'm Mayor, whether to answer that question.
Madam Mayor, hold on a second, please. I'm just looking at numbers. I'm not looking at speculation
And
and
I'm,
conversation.
and that's what I'm going to address,
And so
are the numbers and what has affected those numbers.
I'm not talking about what has affected the
One of the
numbers. We're
things,
not
the
interested
funds
in that.
are there.
Are
One of the
the
hold up,
funds
I
there?
have to say
And
the
also
part
the
is gonna be
arrearage.
out.
And the arrearage, can we take care of the $3 million that we're behind?
And the funds are there. One of the issues
in the
that we
drawer.
have
We gotta
now,
pay our bills.
one of the reasons that it has not been paid is that TVA has been controlling which bills have been, let me get finished, which bills have been paid. And they have been holding up some, which includes those. They have been telling Mr. Jones which ones to pay and which ones to not pay.
But Mr.
And
Jones is
here's
not
that-
the
let me
reason
get
the
finished.
$1.6 million
And it
of a check in the
appears,
drawer.
that there is an attempt to deliberately have it where we can't so that they can enforce that part.
No, ma'am.
We know that they have already, well, I know how you feel. They've already done one increase already. We see that that's coming. We know that from TVA, just like I predicted. And other places as well have been affected by it. That's why Memphis is talking about it. So what they're trying to do now is also force the city of Holly Springs to increase its rates, but because they'll get paid twice. They'll get paid from that general across the board, then they'll get paid again if our people do it. They have been controlling the entire process as to which checks are paid and which ones are not. And they have deliberately held it up so that we will be in the pickle that we are in right now, even in looking at the funds and the finances. The TVA bill could have been paid on time for September, as well as some of the other payments that are out there. So it is important that we state that, and we have to take it back. This is our city. We have a duty to our taxpayers, and so TVA should not be controlling what we do here. Now, there was a question asked as to how did it get there, and that's how it got there, was they started holding up certain things. Ms. Mason, one of the things that she also talked about last week was she thought that Ms. Mason does not sign checks. She thought that the two payments were being made from $150 from the first meeting of the month and $150 from the second meeting of the month. That was not happening. And since Mr. Jones has gotten there, it definitely has not happened because TVA has been telling him which checks to mail, which ones to send, and things of that nature. So, but the funds are there, if you look at the account.
Anybody who knows me knows that's not true.
That's what I'm getting ready to ask you.
You know, anybody who knows me knows that that's not true.
Mr. Jones has just been there for a couple of months.
Mhm.
So I wanna know
We
what,
need to be honest.
okay, have they done you that, have they told you which?
No,
They have.
no.
Ms. Mason.
Ms. Mason, tell.
They have told Miss Russell begs. I mean, she's ready to throw her hands up in the air.
And there are emails
She,
from you, Mr.
she
Jones.
begs to pay vendors, and
You got them too?
those vendors are not being paid. I'm completely out the picture. It's up to Mr. Jones and Miss Melissa as
So,
to what checks are being
Is
paid.
that
And
current
that's all I can
information?
say.
Is that currently, you're speaking of?
I am speaking of
So
currently.
my question then is this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Why
ahead.
should I pass it to General Manager?
He's with, Miss Melissa. I
Now,
mean,
he's
they're the
on
ones.
Emails, he sent them, that's what Ms. Jones
I'm
just
just
said,
saying
she
that.
has received the emails where he has said that TVA says XYZ and not to release. I have been there, and he said, well, Ms. Bledsoe is gonna look at it, and she said we couldn't make like the TVA payment. Well, we looked and saw that we could make it before we got that happy notice from them, and the full amount could be. Mr. Jones said that she said that just to do half of it.
So, if
So
I,
that's what he went by.
Was that her recommendation?
Pardon?
Is that the recommendation that she gave you, or?
Yeah, no, she's given recommendations, yes.
That's all he
so
did.
my question then
That
is,
rest is not recommendation.
my question then is this, if I may. I hear what we're saying. I know that since Mr. Jones has been there, that there's going to be some twisting and lies and manipulation and so forth. My question is, the $1.6 million that's in the drawer, that are vendor payments, apparently, from a year and a half ago to 2 years, when Mr. Jones was not there. Who, I'm gonna just throw this question out, I don't really want to answer to it.
I want to answer.
Because I want this right here, excuse me.
Whoa, hold.
Wait a minute, excuse me, this is our meeting, hold on a
I know,
second,
but
Attorney.
just-
Hold on 1 second, we're not speaking out of turn, so just one moment, please.
I
Okay?
just
Hold
want
on.
to say one thing.
Okay, one thing,
Just remember, we have litigation.
yes, thank you
And
for
this
that reminder.
is a
Thank
budget meeting.
Thank you. So my question then is about the money. I'm going back to my question, Attorney. It's just, so you'll be satisfied. The money has not been there. We have gotten only 4 payments. And that wasn't just starting thing. That has been last year when the payments stopped from us getting the payments. The money was not there. Okay? We've been dealing with that almost 2 years, or at least a year and a half. So my question is for the board, in terms of looking at these budgets, are we going to accept, or do we feel that do you all feel? Because I already know, I'm really going out on a limb, really with this budget for $150,000. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really,
And so I'm gonna say at this
excuse me,
point.
Madam Mayor, let me finish.
Yes, I'm
Let me
gonna
finish.
speak at this
So,
point.
so,
I'm gonna speak at this.
so
point.
I'm asking the question to my colleagues.
But I'm not gonna,
Excuse
this is
me,
also, this is
colleagues,
also my meeting.
excuse
so
me,
that I am
colleagues,
presiding
colleagues.
over this meeting.
Do you all feel,
I am
it's my time
presiding
to
over
talk.
this. And
One
so there
second,
was a
Madam Mayor,
statement,
please.
there was a statement, no ma'am.
Do you all,
Because I need to.
can I,
Yes, point of order. Can we?
no, point of order is to clarify. I'm trying to clarify.
That
I just want to know from my
Point of
colleagues,
order, please.
I
Do
need
we
to
want-
clarify
do-
where,
do we want to accept this $150,000, or do we want to go with the full amount or zero?
Well,
Or nothing?
my feeling is that, the budget can be amended at any time, but I think we should at least put in $150,000 so they can be working toward making sure that they make those payments.
Okay.
Because they have to pay something. Whether it's first, last, or in the middle, it has to be paid, plus the arrearage. Also, the 200,000, if it gets back on track, the meter reading gets perfect, the, rates, do whatever, and people are paying and everything is on time, then over a period of time, they may get back to the 237,000. But right now, if you budget it in for 150 plus the arrearage,
Plus the
that gives them at least a year to catch up. That would be my suggestion.
and I'm going to say this because the statement was made as far as lies. The statements about as to how the checks were being released and who was authorizing them was definitely not a lie. There are emails to prove it. I'm not sure where the statement is coming from as far as if there are checks from more than a year out. I do know that there were some checks that were lost on a desk, last week, that thank God that Ms. Rosa found. So when we talk about things and we talk about that we want to just be about the budget, it is important for those at home to know, that there are a lot of lies being thrown around. It's gonna come to fruition, but as far as that, there are emails to follow up, to demonstrate, to show it. There are also other employees who have been in meetings as well, who can speak to that. And as far as any conversations that I've had with TVA, in regard, but as I mentioned earlier, now is not the place, but I had to address that because the statement was made that, about that there were lies being told about what was happening with those checks. Those were not lies. It was the truth. Those were facts. And we were getting back on track as far as moving forward. She can't recognize you, but I can, Mr. Jones, while you keep putting your finger up. And so, but the truth is there. You forgot you sent emails.
I never forget.
You forgot you sent emails.
I never forget.
So, well, here's the thing about it. I think it's very personal when an older person accuses people of lying. And I think that it's most important that we stay, when you talk about being personal, making a statement about that, and lying about it. The fact that you're calling people a lie is a lie. And so I think that that's important that we address that as well. We can't just keep sweeping over it and people say whatever they want to say. People have their careers, their reputations are at stake. And when people put those out, we could all go. People can say something about all of us up here.
So. I would
So
like
it's
to
not
make a
important. I'm
motion.
talking right now. And so it's important that we respect employees just like we want to be respected. And that we appreciate what they've done. This thing of dogging people out, disrespecting people, it has to stop. It has to stop. And it's going to stop. It's going to stop. And so, but it is important to me to put that out there, because we just can't leave certain things hanging out there. I wanted us to focus on the numbers tonight. It is what it is. I don't get to vote. I put it out there. I'm gonna post mine so the public can see as to what I was proposing, but it is what it is. And so we can amend it. You asked Ms. Mason a question. She said the funds were there. The metering, if you look at the balances of the accounts, you will see that they're there. When you look at the projections, from the time of the billing, you will see that the numbers are there. But we are here tonight. It has to be done. Get with the numbers. This thing of trying to do your resume or whatnot, it's not important tonight. It's not important. And so a question has been asked as to, the numbers, the amounts. I think those questions have been answered. And so look at it if you like, and we could take, excuse me. So it's there, and, if it is, then we know what we'll have to do. If for some reason, that this board decides to not exercise the power, it's not up to TVA, it's not up to Mr. Jones. They owe that to us. I have been doing research for it, as Alderman Shipp and I talked about. That's not an option. That's not up to TVA. That's not up to them. And so, but if this board should decide that they don't want to have that in there in this moment, then that's your pleasure. That's your vote. There are things that I'm allowed to do if I don't like votes, as I have done. It may or may not do any good. I have presented a balanced budget, along with Madam City Clerk. We worked hard on it. We gave people the opportunity for input. But it's there for you. Let's vote on it. Stop dogging out employees who worked extremely hard. They did not create it. One of the things that's not being told is TVA did. One truth that they did tell is that some of these issues have been going on for more than, what did they say, from like 2018 or something. And some were even longer. Some were 20 years old. And some of the people who were here could not even tell you certain things. So we've done an amazing job with what we've had. We've having to fight for everything. We've had to fight for everything since coming into office. And so this budget is here. Look at it, make a decision, keep in mind, if we've got to cut something later on, we just got to cut something later on. So it is there for you.
So thank you. Thank you.
Let us know, you don't have thanks, but let us know, as to, the numbers, and let's stick to that. Let's stick to that.
Absolutely. So again, I guess we're at the table again. $150,000 in the budget that has been proposed is there. Mr. Wayne Jones is saying that he doesn't believe that it's, well, they haven't been made. But however, the board feels that we should include pilot payments of at least $150,000. So I'm asking my colleagues, I can go on and make the motion that we accept. That we move that the proposed budget.
One question though, this budget here reflects the full amount, really, the budget.
This one reflects the one that says Alderman request. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, utility department budget.
Yes, sir.
It does, Ms. Mason said that it does have the full amount in it, right? The $231,000.
Utility department,
The utility, which are these pages. So this budget has the full amount in it. So that budget I don't know if it work together, I have no idea in terms of that.
They can keep it. They can keep it.
Okay. And this is, no, this is important. And that is that the rates, yeah, because the rates are gonna have to go up. And I'm gonna recommend that the rates be going up because they haven't been raised since 2009. And then you will get your payment in lieu of taxes. Yeah, you have 150, you'll get your 100, because the rates are going to be raised. I have to I'm gonna introduce a rate to the board and the mayor, but the rates have to be raised. And so therefore, I just want to point that out, that is going to help, in terms of,
Thinking about that.
as soon as, I'm getting help, I'm getting help from TVA.
Because they have been raised since 2009. They have been raised since then. So the information that.
Not within the cities, not from the
They
city
have been.
side.
They have been.
So when are you, what's your timeline for that? Well, right now, with the city's budget, we have put in $150,000 pallet payments. So I'm gonna make a motion that we adopt,
One thing, I see that on the proposed budget from the mayor, that they have some aqua funds and tourism money still there. Is there anything, Madam City Clerk, that we can use out of this departmental budget to enter into this budget, or do we have to vote on it as is?
No, you don't have to vote on it as is.
We can amend this to
Mhm.
put in some of these things that were paid by tourism and the opera funds. Do we have opera line on this alternate budget? Because you have this other budget, over $1 million, that opera money has been obligated, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so
1.2.
$1.2 million from this budget has been obligated.
So
So we
which
need,
one?
the one proposed by the mayor, it has opera funds and tourism funds that is proposed. And I want to know before we adopt our budget, because ours does not include opera funds for tourism. So we need to offset some of our things in here, if we can use those in these line items.
The city, the alderman request, it does include it, but it just does not list it out. You all can decrease.
it includes what?
It includes revenue of tourism and revenue of, expenses of tourism. Revenue and expenses of tourism, but you all can list out what you would like for tourism to cover and decrease it on the general, operating fund side.
Is it in here?
So how is
She
it?
just got it listed out and we.
Fair, yeah, or, even if you take this, the one that has alderman request on it and go to Park and Rec.
Hey, excuse me, as I mentioned to you earlier, Ms. Jones, let the record reflect that I'll need to leave. I need to put up Dr. Jones, I think I was talking to him. I need to leave for a personal matter.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass them.
Yeah,
After you.
Where's,
Call me later and.
recreation.
Yes.
Okay.
So, under recreation, as you see, it looked like some cuts like program and salaries.
okay, look at this 5,
Okay.
Yes.
about that.
You can decrease that and have it paid out of the tourism fund. The monies that's coming from, that ends under municipal court comes out of general operating fund, not out of tourism fund. But you can lower what you have on the general operating side under the recreation department and offset that for tourism to pay for some of that, so that it won't come out of the general fund.
Right. All right, so you said though, in the alderman request budget, that it's already allocated, right? Some of the ARPA funds is in here.
Yes.
It's just not listed, so where is it added in then?
It's not listed, it's spread throughout salaries,
Okay, so it's
regular-
just a
yes.
broad cast.
So we're gonna have
And how
to,
much of the ARPA funds?
900,000. So we're gonna have to itemize the 900,000 to make sure that it is listed exactly what the $900,000 is expensed on. So when we get ready to do the report, it's reported. But for recreational purposes, yes, you can decrease these amounts. Repair and maintenance, equipment, you can decrease them, and they can be paid out of the tourism money. And as you see in tourism, as of today, we have $699,163.29. So you all can formulate or calculate a balance for that amount. Just how we did this, you transfer in money to help offset that money.
Okay, in the departmental budget, how much of the ARPA funds are used?
$1 million.
1 a combination of,
1,285,000.
So roughly, you only have about $200-some thousand left in that
Yes.
account.
Yes.
But we have to use about this December.
You don't have to
It has to
use it,
be
it has to be
yes.
obligated, yes,
About this
obligated,
December.
yes.
all right, so, what portion of tourism is used in the departmental budget then?
No,
None, okay.
No.
So all additional monies came out of ARPA.
yes,
And that left us with what, 500,000?
it'll be 500, roughly 500 plus,
That's an
500 plus,
That's an ARPA, not,
Yes.
right.
Right.
yes.
So the other one, we would be less than 200,000
Yeah.
Yes.
as departmental.
But they would also give us time to go into some of these winter months to see where else we would want to obligate somebody. If we don't have to have it obligated until December.
And also keep in mind, as you see on expenses, it's listed supplies, project, repairs, and programs under tourism. So when you making a vote to vote on claims or anything, you just specify to be paid out of the tourism fund instead of the general operating fund. So you can offset that money, you're not using the general operating fund, you're using the 699,000.
So,
Those funds are, guidelines, right? It's the guidelines which you can use.
Yes, you
You
can't,
can't use them for anything.
no,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah, we,
Skycop-
there's contingencies on.
you can't get a Skycop. No.
So do we, do we need to go back over this all of them requested budget and put it in, or is it gonna be a simple?
Put what in?
The aqua funds and the tourism, it's already in here, but we ain't using enough, I'm using 900,000.
Well, I'm showing on this budget,
Any tourism.
on this budget is showing that we're gonna receive in tourism $150,000.
Mhm.
For the fiscal year 24-25, we're gonna expense that same $150,000 that we received.
Okay.
For the year,
What she is asking though, do we need to give it a line item that we're going to pull ARPA? Is that what you're saying?
Or we just, I know she said we could just use it in the motion, I heard that part, I got that clear. When we make a motion,
Okay.
instead of saying we're gonna pay it out of the general fund, we can just pay it out of the
Okay,
budget.
Okay.
But I'm asking her, do, like on this budget proposed by the mayor, on these things, line items like on, under recreational programs and salary, it says see tourism funds. It's still zeroed out. So what does that mean? You're gonna take it off that last page?
she's gonna, yes.
Yeah,
So we-
she and I spoke about that before y'all got there. So how I understood it was if it's got, let me just get one. If it's zeroed out, like equipment lease under streets,
Mhm.
would just be pulled from that. If it was $6,000, it would be pulled from that ARPA. That's how, which would be essentially the same thing that you're talking about doing, is making in the motion of paying things, say, right, we would want to use the ARPA money in there.
Yeah, but what I want to know is this one has 1.2 million. We only have 900,000 over here. Do we need to add more opera funds over here in this opera fund and increase some of the things that we decreased over here in some of our line items?
That,
Do we need to increase it?
That's if you wanna use that other $500,000 for salaries.
if you wanna use the other 500, But the opera fund is gonna have to have its own budget anyway. You're still gonna have to do that unless you're just gonna denote the whole 1.4 over to the city. You're gonna transfer it in. You can also, at the back, at the bottom, put transfer in opera, 1.4 million, expenses, salaries, programs,
Equipment.
public welfare, equipment, yes. You can have it listed out and it needs to balance with the revenue that you're gonna transfer into the general fund.
Well, that's what I want to
So
do.
you wanna use all the opera money for salaries and stuff?
Well, you gotta have them obligated by December. I don't have a problem with saving a couple $100,000 or, 300,000, 250, 300,000 for another couple, it's already October. So what it will come up between October and December, I don't know. But I would think we should put the majority of it in here now.
900 already is.
900 already is.
900 is.
Mhm,
So you'll have the other 500 left over.
mhm.
So as soon as, if this budget is adopted, as soon as this one is adopted, you can start working on special needs or projects for whatever you want to
For the
expense
other five.
for the other 5. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be adopted within this.
Okay. So this one can be approved tonight. This balanced budget that we already have.
Yes, if you all would like that one to be approved, they
With the
can.
$150, $150,000 highway.
Yes, it doesn't matter if they have the full amount in theirs, even if they are including the full amount. That still gives them room to be able to make more than 150,000, but at least we are including the 150,000. And if they get on the pattern of at least 3 months of paying more than, then you all can always
Amend the
amend.
budget.
So I'll make them, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you need all the.
Need all the material. Is he on?
Okay, so we all on the same page. Do we need to make any, put anything in the motion to revisit this in so many months? Or is it something that we can just bring up if the payments aren't made or?
I'll say that.
It needs to be revisited on a month-by-month basis.
Okay, so we
So
do
you
it every
all,
month.
every month,
And we don't have to put it in the motion, we just need to know to do it, but we have to ask.
well, it's our responsibility to do it every month.
Okay. Okay,
By statute, we have to let you all know anyway.
so it don't have to be in the motion, I got it.
It doesn't have to.
But it should be. It's not gonna happen, just, have to just put it in there.
Well, we're required to let you all know.
Okay.
All right, so I will make the motion that we accept the proposed draft budget. I don't know if it's budget 1 or budget 2 or the Alderman request. What do we want to name these budgets? The Alderman request budget.
So you
number
can just
one,
say
that
with the,
includes the-
that includes the pilot payment of
That includes the
150,000.
pilot payment of $150,000 per month.
Plus the readers.
Bless her, Lydia.
Because your motion is gonna mean they just have to pay $150,000 a month, their readers will be
Yeah, that's what.
forgiven, we can't forgive them.
Plus arrearages. According to her.
This,
It's been moved by our Alderman Merriweather. Is there a second?
I said,
And second by Alderman Fountain, that we accept the proposed budget by the Alderman, including the $150,000 pilot payments and revenues from HSUD. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay.
we're gonna do an income, and that's 2024, 2025,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
budget.
Yeah, 2024, 25. budget.
Yeah, yeah. Since they're adopting the budget, do a roll call.
Roll call, please.
1.8 million. Mhm. Alderman Fountain,
Aye.
Alderman Jones, absent, Alderman Teal, Alderman Merriweather,
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. One absent is Alderman Jones.
Other than this is one of the students' budget, do we have to adopt the utilities department budget separately? Or is it,
it has to be done
it
separately.
has to be done separately?
It has to be done by the 15th as well.
Yes.
These budgets have to be finished by September 15th.
They shall,
Will be.
The statute says shall.
they shall be.
Going back date.
For the auditor up here.
Mr. Jones and Ms. Mason, can you all work together to, get us a proposed budget with $150,000 payments? This one includes the $231,000.
It's not gonna matter.
It's not a, let me ask you a question. This budget they're proposing with the full amount, can that budget be adopted? Or is that gonna be in, conflict with our budget?
Well, the way that I view it is.
It allows them to make the whole payment.
So we haven't gotten it.
So we can adopt this as is,
Yes, it allows them to make the full payment.
right?
Yeah.
So I said. I haven't had a chance to look over it, just.
I would have to answer, yeah.
I will,
It's a balance.
I would say,
You know, regardless of what, you know, one of the things that I have learned, that we, colleagues, we've learned, is that when you put the money in there, unless you go back immediately and adjust, then each department, that money that is allocated, that's what they have in mind and that's what they go to work on. Spending that money, the overtime usage is there, the supplies they use, I mean, I'm not saying that they just intentionally go and just say, I'm gonna da-da-da-da-da. But that's what they have in their mind. But this is a huge,
But with it being an election year, you only have so much time that you can use any of this budget money because, so many days prior to the election, we cannot find the next vote, so they can't go on the spending spree.
but still, just because you stop the spending in January doesn't mean that October, November, and December, that you will use 75% of it, or whatever the case may be, you know.
Still have to be more approved, though, right? No, big purchases. They gotta come before the board for a motion.
True, but they are, most of the time when we go through, when we do it, we're approving the claims.
Right.
That means the money already spent.
that's like your general.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, what is, it's according to the budget and what we've allocated, it was in the budget.
If they get in their budget, they can just walk.
That's correct.
The,
That is correct.
the only thing I want to point out is it's September 12th.
We, keep the main thing, I got it.
No, I mean, no. What I'm saying, if you all are not ready to vote on this today, which is kind of crucial, today is the 12th, tomorrow is Friday, and
15th is on Sunday.
15th is on Sunday.
It's by Zoom.
Well, I think we should just let them take us over these budgets, see what they're saying, and what's all these, coming in the papers.
They can walk you through the budget. If they need to make any, they can recess for a few minutes, but
What you read? I think.
in Zoom, if you do it by Zoom, it has to be open to the public.
Well, we supposed to link to everybody.
I think why we.
I mean, I'm just saying, if they-
Y'all want to hear from them on their budget?
Yep.
All right.
No. And just recalculations because
We went over the budget with Mr. Jones.
you know, I haven't listened. I went thoroughly through the cities. I haven't even seen it'll take me a minute to the.
I went to the meeting personally. I know.
Well, the people, they don't let-
That's alumni
We
down.
have,
That's alumni down.
and we have employees that have lost loved ones that are having their funerals to do this Saturday.
Well, that's what I was asking about. They'll get us some time to look over this last question.
Here's the thing, I could deal with it,
Well,
all right. I figured you said the third.
What is unclear leave pay?
what's that?
What number is that?
That is 3GS 41927 0004.
Is that on the budget, you got it later?
This
Okay.
is, gas.
Yeah.
Unclear. Oh, it's on gas, it just have to be the first one.
That's one of the items that she posts from the payroll. It's a payroll total. I didn't get a chance to exactly look up that one on the gas, but it's a total that she posts from the payroll checks.
It's, they have to make vouchers at the end of every month. And depending on how much leave has been utilized, it carries a balance.
What's interdepartment loan? I'm still on gas. Because we only went with
That's-
13,000,
yeah.
we projected 5,000, because we budgeted 14. Interdepartment loan, like,
Interdepartmental loan, that's a loan that the gas department owes electric.
they owe.
See that here? Okay. Even if I put it off.
So his contribution to the city of Palm Springs, there's nothing on this line. Everything comes from utilities, from the electric.
Yes, so far.
So, Mr. Mason, are you still on gas? So that is, with, is it 237, is that what we're, the pilot, is that what it's
231.
231? So now, I just wanna, she asked it, but it does come strictly from the electrical side. There's not a combined,
It's what the electric department has. They are responsible for that.
okay,
Calculated by TVA.
okay.
It's combined. You know, when y'all send the check, it got electric, water, gas, when you break it down for me.
On that check,
Mm-hmm. It got the salaries, electric, water, gas, sewer.
on the pallet check, I don't recall seeing that. but it
Now,
could be.
now electric may pay it and they may pay them back on the inside department loan, something like that.
That should be a straight up electric thing.
But we don't know if that is a
It's an electric,
water, sewer, everybody pitches in to get to that.
it's really electric. It's a number calculated by
It's
TVA.
according to the TVA, to the power contract, that money, you can't do that with, as far as any, the money between sewage, water, gas, and electric has to be separate. That pilot payment is, from the electric. And it's from and it's based on the amount of electric power sold by TVA.
It's organized. How much, okay. They're gonna have electric, the water, sewer, gas, and it's gonna have the prorated salaries. It's an amount that they pay for each department.
$230. I don't even know why salary is bigger.
Cause the utility department pay a portion of my salary and everybody's up there.
Oh, in that part. In that part of the 230.
It's part of 231.
If they don't, if they hold the meeting at recess.
Yes.
What time do you can do this?
Here. How many times do you need to post notice?
Tonight, if they talk about tomorrow. I think it's 1 hour before, and then they have to have it 3 hours before.
I'm fair, but you have to have a,
Special call,
you gotta have a notice.
it has to be done tonight. A notice to the public, it'll have to be drafted tonight and posted.
Sure. If this guy would have the foil.
The public here to adopt the budgets. So you is tomorrow?
Hmm.
You're having a public hearing tomorrow?
No, ma'am.
You're not?
We had the public hearing on the 3rd.
I thought I missed something there.
Oh, to have a meeting tomorrow, we want to have a,
To adopt the Holly Springs utility.
Yeah, I want to put that further.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I would like to see, Ms. Mason and Mr. Jones, I would like to see the HSUD budget, just like we did the Holly Springs City's budget. One with the payments, this is the $231,000 payment. And one without the payment included in, or at least the 150 budgeted. And
I was thinking that if they already have one with $200,000, they don't, if they have two, one with $150,000. Just just take their 200,000. And if they make theirs, and both obligations have been made.
correct.
That's what I was.
The only other thing about that was looking at those independent, variable, other sections in there, asking the questions, because from gas, looking at the salaries, looking at, this is in salary increases in these budgets.
We didn't put any increases in there.
Huh.
We didn't include any increases.
Okay, so no increases have been included in either one of these budgets.
Can't you always amend?
You can amend it tomorrow if you want to.
So can't you always amend them?
Yes, ma'am. Little detail sale. Oh, city, 921,000. We got 640. Yeah. But
I would love to do
And what's the meaning of projected is the fact that September has not been closed.
Yes, right. So, but we're not gonna get, you're not just looking at water, for instance, residential city sales. Projected balance, we're showing 614, we're not gonna get $300,000 a month in September. See what I'm saying?
I see, but I wish I had,
You know,
They-
that might be better for you.
they bring, okay, but you can do whatever you want, but they bring in quite a bit monthly in water.
Well, there's no way they can bring in 300 if, then we would budget for almost 3 million there,
Okay,
if they did that monthly.
I understand what you're saying now.
We're just down on everything, so I don't, how are we, you know, I guess that's just other questions that I have, you know, how do we dip even gas, residential sales from 200,000 less this year than we were last year, but we're projecting to do 300,000 more, you know, how does that project? Are we putting in that many new meters, or we, you know, what,
I understand. You can call me
okay.
about that one and we'll go over it.
that's why I have questions, right? You know, you're. I understand until I ask questions.
If you all are going to meet tomorrow, it's just recess instead of adjourned.
Okay. So we need to have a drafted,
Can we meet tomorrow at 5:30? For an hour?
I will be telephonically, so you need to put that in there. I will be telephonic. Yeah.
So this will be in person.
Well, it could be online, it could be Zoom.
I think you all need to decide how you're going to meet so that she can post it in the
Is
notice.
Zoom okay? Is Zoom okay, or you wanna be? You wanna be in person? You wanna be in person? Can we just go, or do we have to specify what all?
Just whatever you all like, for instance, if he's gonna be telephonically, if you're going to have the Zoom option, it just needs to be in the notice. If you're just going to do in person, that just needs to be decided so she knows what to put in the notice.
You can put me down for telephonic. That's how I will be.
At what time?
You gonna be here?
I can come. Yes.
So both of them will be here. I'm thinking telephonically for me, but I need, if I check.
There won't be nobody to call me.
You sure?
They're gonna be with us, yeah. But you who will call?
You.
Yeah.
Me.
So how do we?
At what time?
5:30.
5:30.
How do we, if we have to be that specific, what do you do with Alderman Jones? Just not list him as either or?
Did you know that? Did you know that?
He'll be notified, just won't list him as either or, because he's absent today.
All right, so I'll make that. We ready for that? I'll make a motion to recess the meeting until 5:30 tomorrow, September 13th.
5:30.
Okay.
Is that all I need to say?
That's all I need.
Second.
The motion by Alderman Teal, that we recess to follow, budget meeting at 5:30 p.m.
That's gonna be done?
What time would you all like to receive these by?
Yeah.
So
that's what I was
tomorrow
gonna
when we
ask.
get here, we won't have to.
Ms. Mason, Mr. Jones, what time can
We
we,
thought we were gonna be in person, they're gonna be on the phone.
But they, you won't be done.
so if we have questions about this budget, what time do we call you all?
You call me anytime tomorrow from 8. 5:30.
Before you all take the vote, will there be any revisions you all would have to look at? Because you may want a time for them to have those to
That's what
you.
I was asking.
That's why I asked her what time, because the revisions, once I look at it tonight, then I will call Ms. Jones and Ms. Mason, perhaps maybe the visit and look at the revisions. And all the,
Now, did you,
I would say at least about one.
did you say to let the pilot stay as is? Is that what you all were saying?
Yes.
$150,000.
Did she get it to 137 years ago?
Yeah, we put that in there. You know, we
Plus a
If
year.
they got it.
received it.
Well, that's
Fine.
what they said, plus.
Anything else in the budget, you just don't like it.
Yeah, but the issue is, again, the allocations that you were given based on that budget.
But the
You hire
majority,
people,
the majority of the spending, if it's other than normal items, come through us. So if we get close to busting, we can just start.
Glad they were giving the thing every month.
providing the
She said they were quiet.
we don't know, we haven't been doing it. Okay, so,
I mean, you all can go ahead and vote on the motions on the floor, but I would probably recommend that they have whatever final budget they're going to present to you all by a certain time.
I know.
Noon, I can do it by noon, because if any questions I have, I'm in a meeting from 7:30 until noon, so I would have to have any questions after that, so.
Oh, that's fine. He said what we should have to
You
you.
had it presented.
Oh, I thought you were talking about with any revisions, but, okay. That's fine.
Okay, then there's a motion for,
All right, been moved by Alderman, Till, second by Alderman Merriweather, that we recess till tomorrow at 5:30 PM to discuss the utility fund 2024 proposed budget. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay. Motion carried. We go. And after this,